everyone! I'm Amber from Amber's Craft Week blog, and I am super excited to bring you today's video, which is the first one in my new Pokemonbounding series. Now, what is Pokemonbounding? Well, it's basically the same idea as Disneybounding, but with Pokemon. If you're not familiar with Disneybounding, the idea behind it is that you dress up in the vibe of a character. So it's similar to costuming and cosplay, but you're not trying to match a look exactly. So if you were going for a, let's say, Marie from Aristocats costume, you would want to look like a cat. But if instead you are doing a Disneybound, you just want to embody the vibe. So very dainty clothing, you want to match the color scheme white and pink, but you don't necessarily need cat ears or cat tail or anything like that. And I'll show you a few examples of some Disneybounds that I've done. Pokemonbounding is the same sort of idea. Instead of trying to look exactly like a particular Pokemon, I'm going to be creating a look that I feel like embodies that Pokemon. So I'm going to usually be matching their color scheme, but I'm not going to be trying to look exactly like the Pokemon in question. Which is good because our first Pokemon is a little difficult to dress up as exactly. Pokemon Go has what are called community days, and during those times, a certain Pokemon will appear more frequently in the wild. You also have an opportunity to catch its shiny form. July's Community Day Pokemon is Gastly. So I thought it would be fun to dress up as Gastly for Community Day. The first step in designing my Gastly look process was to sketch out my idea. So there are some amazing sewing YouTubers out there, and they have their beautiful drawing notebooks with immaculate sketches. I just drew this on a piece of scrap paper. So the idea is I want to take a black romper, and I'm not sure which one yet because I have like probably literally a dozen or so of them. I'm going to take a black romper and I want to make a purple tulle overskirt for it. And I feel like this represents Gastly because one, it kind of matches the color scheme, it's black and purple, and then I feel like the tulle is going to kind of billow out behind me like the gas cloud that follows Gastly does. So that's kind of where I get the idea from. I'm not sure yet whether I'm going to add some kind of belt or not to cover the elastic, because we're going to be making this pretty much just by sewing some tulle to elastic. That's the basic idea. And I don't know if I want the raw elastic sticking out or not yet, so we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. First step is we're going to get to making the skirt. Now I have here this beautiful purple tulle from Ginger Girl Fabrics. This is the same tulle that I used to make the overskirt for my wedding dress. I don't think I will have posted that one to my craft vlog yet by the time this video comes out, but you can see pictures of the wedding dress on my craft vlog. Basically what I did for that was same idea, I took a romper I had, a blue one in that case, and made a tulle overskirt to make it more like a wedding dress. I really love the blue glitter tulle that I bought from this seller, and so I figured I'd just buy some purple tulle for them. It is absolutely gorgeous. My one caution is that it is full on glitter, so you will get glitter everywhere. I ordered 4 yards of tulle for this project. To figure out how much tulle I was going to need for each layer, I took my waist measurement and multiplied it by 1.5. Now, 1.5 is a little bit small to use if you're trying to go all the way around, but since I'm going to have it open in the front, so I'm basically only going halfway around, 1.5 times should work perfectly. So my waist is about 24 inches. 1.5 times that would be 36 inches or 1 yard. So I got 4 yards so I could have 4 layers of tulle. The next step is going to be to cut out the tulle panels. So I know I want them 1 yard wide, but I also have to figure out how tall do I want these panels to be. So I'm going to take my handy dandy tape measure and measure from the floor to my waist, my natural waist, because I want it to sit there. Usually about 39 inches. We'll call it 40 inches, because I'll be wearing heels at least for the photos. If you are going to be wearing heels, you'll want to add some extra length, equal to about the height of your heels, so that it will reach the floor. So I'm going to go off screen for a moment. I'm going to cut my tulle up into panels that are 1 yard by 40 inches, and then I'll be back. Hey everyone, I'm back. While I had originally envisioned using 4 layers of tulle like I did for my wedding dress, after cutting out just the first one, I actually thought 1 layer might be best for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and start out with just 1 layer of tulle. The nice thing is if I end up wanting more, I can always add more later. Now I want the elastic to fit snugly on my waist, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out just a little bit less elastic than my waist measurement. Instead of actually physically measuring this out with like a tape measure, I'm just kind of setting it on my waist and seeing where it lies snug, and I'm going to snip to that length. So this is the piece of elastic I ended up with. It's 3/4 of an inch wide, I believe, elastic. It's just leftover elastic I had from when I was making my Harley Quinn shorts, which you have not seen yet, but will be coming out this fall, even probably late summer. That's a Halloween craft you'll get. We got our elastic now. The next step, I'm just going to take my sewing machine and sew straight across the ends to get a continuous loop. And that's going to form the waistband of the skirt. Alright, so I sewed the ends of the elastic together. The next thing is going to be to turn this right side in and then pin the fabric to it. Now you will want to make sure before you start pinning and sewing that your elastic fits snugly on your waist and that you can pull it over your hips. I've pinned the fabric to the waistband and we'll see how this works. So what I originally did was I anchored these 2 places in the front, and then I found the back of the fabric and pinned it to the center back of the elastic, making sure that these 2 safety pins lined up. And then I found the midpoint of the fabric and the midpoint of the elastic and I pinned those, and I just kind of did that same thing on the other side. So this green one here was from that, so I just kind of found the midpoint of the fabric and the elastic and I pinned it, and I did the same thing on the other side. Now the thing is, you need to stretch the elastic to sew it down. The problem was, even if I stretched my elastic to its maximum stretch, the fabric wasn't lying flat. So I decided to add these little pleats at the halfway point along each side, so that way when I stretch it in the stretch to sew, it will lie flat. It will still stretch because we need that stretch, but the fabric will lie flat against it. So we're going to give this a try. I'm not sure how well this will work because I've never tried this before, but fingers crossed that it works. I'll try sewing this down and then I'll be back. Alright, so here's what the skirt looks like at this point in time. This was one of my first times doing the stretch to sew technique, and I think it went okay. There are definitely some places where my stitches aren't very nice looking, so at the beginning there's like this little loop that's sticking out that somehow that happened with, and then if you kind of like follow along, there's a few other places where there's like this loose thread, and there are places where the stitches are kind of ugly looking. So not the best sewing I've ever done, but not too bad either. Here is what the finished look looks like. On the whole, I'm pretty pleased with it. I think it definitely has a Gastly vibe to it. The only thing I might change is I did use only 1 layer of tulle. Originally I envisioned using a lot more, and it is a little bit less kind of flowy than it might have been, like, and flouncy than it might have been with more layers of tulle. But otherwise I think it's pretty good. And then I guess my one other thing is I think I made the pleats a little wide, because when I try putting this on, I have to move it very carefully over my hips so I don't snap the thread. So I got it on successfully, which is good, but probably need to be a little bit more careful sewing it if I try something like this again. I'll turn around real quick so you can see the back. So this purple tulle with the band. I ended up opting not to put some kind of belt over it. The ribbon I had for that purpose ended up being really wide, and I didn't like how it looked. Unless you're up close, you can't really see the stitches because they're black. So I would say I am pretty happy with this, and I am looking forward to Gastly Community Day. Also, since we still got a little time before then, if you have any suggestions about how I could accessorize this look, feel free to let me know. I decided to go with purple lipstick and eyeshadow, purple earrings to kind of accent this. But if you have other suggestions, I'd be happy to hear them. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, I'd love it if you gave it a like, or let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching and have a great day.